Where money is concerned, bank robberies are generally more lucrative than housebreakings. However, for one man in Edinburgh, the opportunity to steal a vast sum of money from his employer was too good to miss. On Tuesday, 28th July 1925, Henry Lee Dixon stood in the dock at Edinburgh Sheriff Court before Sheriff Gerard Crowell and a jury on charges of having stolen a canvas bag at 16 Dorset Place in the city, which contained £382 worth of gold in March of that year. At the time, the house was occupied by Jean Lindsay, a fish hawker and fruit seller, who'd begun saving the money in gold sovereigns and half-sovereigns since 1914. She'd hidden it under a stove in her sitting room, thinking it was safe. She and her daughter checked on the bag every so often, so it wasn't until Thursday 25th June that either of them knew it was missing. Her daughter had gone to check on the bag, and when she saw it wasn't there, cried, "Oh mother, it's away." Nothing else in the house was missing or had been touched. However, it was soon ascertained that a window in the sitting room had been the point of entry. Dixon had waited until he knew the pair had gone to New Haven Fish Market, removed a pane of glass, and climbed into the house. 21-year-old Dixon had been employed by Mrs. Lindsay as a lorryman on Friday 20th March 1925, and somehow had found out about the gold, which was kept in a leather bag inside a larger canvas one. He knew the layout of the house, and there were stables at the back of it from where he worked, so he was quickly identified as the main suspect. In court, it transpired that in March, after he'd stolen the cash, he'd gone to a bank to exchange the sovereigns for pound notes. A teller stated that around 10 a.m. one March morning, Dixon had entered the bank and placed a leather bag on the counter. He told the teller he wanted to exchange the gold coins for notes. The teller counted the gold and found that there were 35 sovereigns and 10 half-sovereigns. He told the court that he was rather surprised and had asked the young man how he'd come by the money. Dixon told him he'd got it from a firm of confectioners, and although he pressed him on the matter, he ended up exchanging the coins for notes. However, in court, he couldn't positively identify Dixon, but did say he resembled the man that came into the bank that day. Other tellers at banks in the Leith area and at Piers Hill gave similar accounts. They all stated that between £50 and £60 worth of sovereigns and half-sovereigns were exchanged for notes, but they couldn't identify Dixon as the man who'd been to their respective banks. In one case, when asked where it had come from, he replied, "Mrs. Mackay, High Street, Portobello," and gave his name as G. Hunter on the pay-in slip. This witness was asked to identify a pair of tan-coloured socks, and he told the court the man who'd come into his bank had been wearing similar socks. He was then shown cap shoes and a blue overcoat, and although he said the man had worn them, he couldn't remember the velvet collar on the coat. A teller at a bank in Trinity said that on Friday 27th March, word reached them from the city police of a theft of gold in the capital. About half an hour later, a young man walked into the branch and pushed a bag of gold across the counter. He matched the description of Dixon, and he positively identified him in court. The man told the teller he wanted to exchange the coins for notes. Like the first witness, he too asked how he'd come by the money, and Dixon replied it was from a firm called McDonald's in Bonington. Having received word about the stolen gold, he said he wasn't going to make any suggestion, but told the young man that he'd received notice about a considerable amount of gold that had been stolen from a house in the city. Dixon never said a thing when told this, and this made the bank employees suspicious. The teller saw a police officer outside and left the bank to fetch him, but when they returned, Dixon was gone. A minute later, he was spotted running down the street. By the following day, Dixon had been apprehended, and the teller went to the police station to identify him as the man who'd been in the bank the previous day with the gold. In his defence, his solicitor, Mr. McKechnie, spoke of the dangers of mistaken identity, addressing the jury of the perils of it. In his summing up, the sheriff said the case largely relied on identification, and that the jury would have to make up their own minds whether the man in the dock was indeed the culprit or not. After less than 20 minutes, they returned to the courtroom. Henry Lee Dixon of 10 Jamaica Street in the city was found guilty by majority. The sheriff told him he'd been found guilty of a very mean offence, in that he'd stolen money from a woman who'd employed him, and sentenced him to 12 months in prison. It also transpired Dixon had already been convicted twice of petty theft in 1916, but the sheriff didn't take these convictions into consideration when he passed sentence. The area by the Union Canal where the theft took place has since been redeveloped, and Mrs. Lindsay's house no longer exists. If you enjoyed this episode of Scotland's History, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.